Yes, y'all. Happy Friday. Welcome to Office Hours. What is up? Welcome, everybody. Let me know if you can see me and hear me loud and clear. We will get this show on the road. Happy Friday. Happy Cinco de Mayo. If that's a something that you celebrate where you are in San Diego, it can feel like a national holiday. So happy Friday either way. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And this is Office Hours, which if you are not familiar with Office Hours, I know there's some new folks here. Awesome. Good. New folks, this is, hey, what's up, Kay? Awesome. There's new folks right there. So this is completely unstructured in terms of any sort of agenda. I have nothing for you other than to do my best to help you. Typically that is in the format of you asking some questions and me doing my best to respond to them. So that is what we are here for. So any questions that you have, feel free to go ahead and type them into the comments. I am also going to put an invite link in the comments. This invite link is what you use if you want to come on camera with me and chat. So if you have a question that's longer, more involved, difficult to explain, has more nuance, any of that type of stuff, then you can come on camera and we can talk. And don't worry, when you hit that little button to come on camera, I will see you backstage first. So it's not like you're just going to show up on camera unannounced. I will see you backstage, and then I will ask you if you're ready to come on camera, and you can wave at me and say yes, and then we'll put you up there. So don't be afraid. And I will say hi to everybody and kill a little bit of time while I wait for the questions to come in. Michael Copeland, good to see you here, sir. Awesome. First new client today, and I don't even have my own website or domain. I love it, man. That's action taking. Way to go. It is important to note that we don't need everything to be perfect before we start signing up customers, right? It can be one of those things where we try to put these roadblocks in our way that oftentimes just don't need to be there other than our own making. So Benjamin, good to see you, sir. Love it. That's awesome. First time, says Kay. Kay says, I was getting ready to launch SMMA, but found you. Awesome. Well, you still may want to launch SMMA, but you may want to wrap it, around some tools and technology to make sure that you have something that isn't just another, job keeping you real busy. And happy to talk about that. Charles Linda says, you really should make yourself more available. I'm trying. I know, man. I got all heated. I got heated in a response to somebody on a YouTube video. Oh, the 4 days of training that I did for HighLevel. Somebody got on there and was, pissing and moaning, excuse my language, saying that I don't answer questions. And I'm like, I gave a little bit of a heated response and said, that's funny that, you should say that, given that I'm literally just about to send out the email of my free Q&A calls that I do. And I've done, a bazillion of them now. Anyway, I think the HighLevel team deleted my comment because it was a little too snitty. That's okay. I don't like to let people get away with that shit. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing that amazes me about being an entrepreneur in today's world. And I'm going to sound like an old fart here, at risk, right, of sounding like an old fart. But when I first got into business, there was no like communities like this where you could go and ask people like in the same industry to help you and give you advice and share templates with you and share workflows with you and all that type of stuff, right? I mean, one, those communities didn't exist because when I got started, the internet was like just getting started. But two, nobody was going to share anything with you. Like there was still much more of this environment of, hey, it's business, it's cutthroat. Like why in the world would I share anything with you? So the fact that somebody can be complaining on my video where I did 4 days of live training for them, sharing some of my absolute best stuff on how to build a business in this space, giving away free resources, all that stuff. And then they're on there complaining that nobody's helping them. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like it's a mindset that I can confidently say is just wrong. Like if you have that mindset, don't be an entrepreneur. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, you should actively look for the times in your life and the places in your life where you are exhibiting that mindset and try and squash the shit out of it. And I say that as somebody who that's an active process by myself all the time too, right? Where I'm looking for, hey Mike, whoa. You were just being a whiny little, you know what, right there. Like that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable to you. You let some of that stuff creep in. Now it's time to squash it, right? Because there's no room for it. There's no room for it. It doesn't serve you, one. And two, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, and you are behaving that way, thinking that way, you are literally just taking money out of your pocket and like throwing it down the drain. That's all there is to it. So I wish that I could get that guy on the phone here, get him on this call so that I could have that conversation with him. And of course, if he wanted to challenge me on it, I'd love the debate. Benjamin says, if we purchase leads that are phone interviewed and import them, can we send an SMS and email to them through Go High Level without any issues? Benjamin, you are asking essentially, you're asking a question of, can you, that has a can you answer, a should you answer, and will you eventually get into trouble answer, okay? Can you, like, is there any technological issue that is going to prevent you from importing that information into Go High Level and sending it? No. Should you, unless those people agreed to it, you should not, and you are technically breaking the law. Will you get away with that for some good period of time? And are people doing it all the time? Yes. Will it eventually cause you problems? And can those problems really cause you problems? Yes. If you are trying to build a business with a long-term mindset and not take shortcuts, my advice to you is to not do that. Okay. Do I think like you're breaking some horrible moral code if you do that? No, not necessarily. But the reality is that it will, if it comes back to bite you, it can come back to bite you pretty good. And so if you are thinking long-term about your business, I would suggest that you do not do that type of thing. Have opt-in forms. And when people opt in, you can email them and you can send them SMSs. Now, you said that they are phone qualified. So I'm assuming that it sounds like, okay, yeah, they've agreed. So it sounds like it's like the agreement is maybe just happening like in a separate system and process. And then you're saying, well, now I'm just moving them into High Level, a different system, but I've got their permission, that type of thing. Then I think that you're all good. Okay. And is there some bureaucrat out there that will tell you, no, you can't do that? Yeah, maybe. Let's see here. Do you really think selling MCTB as a Trojan horse offer for $297 a month, like Go High Level has been pitching? I love Missed Call Text Back as a foot in the door, Trojan horse, whatever we want to call it. I think it's a fantastic service with a tremendous amount of value for small businesses. Whether you sell it at $297, I would personally, I don't think that there's any reason that you have to sell it at that price point to start. Here's why I say that is that if you just structure it right, then you will give the customer a certain amount of credits. And then beyond that, they will, the usage will then ramp up the price, right? And selling to small businesses is always significantly easier at a lower price. And my suspicion is that selling that at $97 makes it marketable with a speed of attracting prospects and closing sales and a lower cost of sales that makes up for the benefit of selling it at $297, where I think you will significantly reduce the marketability, increase the length of the sales cycle, increase the cost of the sales cycle. That has to be tested, of course, Bart, but that's my hunch. I think at $97, you can mass market something. At $297, it's a little bit more difficult. So that can be tested. But for me personally, I don't see a big reason why you need to test it if you structure your packages properly, and they just will automatically progress towards the $297 based on usage anyway. So that would be my recommendation. Okay. Bob, awesome, man. Please fire him in. Oh, it looks like he did down here. Cool. And go high level for 4 months, one client, not sure how to get momentum. Paul, I would, to answer that question, I would just ask you, what are your sales and marketing activities every day? What is it that you are doing every day to get attention and to get prospects, and to take a good hard look at the volume of those activities and the results of those activities, to see, what's going on there. But I would also challenge you, or I would have to ask and have to know, what is it that you're actually presenting out in the marketplace? Like, are you presenting Go High Level? If you're presenting Go High Level, you're gonna struggle, I think. If you are presenting a system, a service that is based on Go High Level, but it's your original, what I call an uncommon offer, or a oh my gosh, brain fart, somebody help me. Anyway, signature system, excuse me. If you are putting that out into the marketplace, then you're going to have a better chance at attracting prospects and customers. So you just have to give me a little more detail there. Hey, Michael Copeland, question, please explain how their San Diego works. Do you have staff? Do you have people provide info to you? Do you go out and get the info? Michael, all of the above. So there's San Diego, for anybody who's wondering, is my local media business. I can bring it up here just real quick and show it. It is my local media business, and it is a whole heck of a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And let's see here. So that is it as of this moment in time. It is as I said, a local media business. So we cover the best things to eat, drink, see, and do in San Diego. Very common to, what you've seen if you've lived in any significant sized city, where they have like a city magazine that's kind of all about the culture and arts and entertainment and all that type of stuff in the city. So we do that, but just purely in a digital format. And the way that it works, is all of the above, as I said, Michael, to your question here. So people send us content. We get tons of content every single day, primarily from PR firms who are trying to get their customers coverage, their clients coverage. And then we scour the internet for stories and events and things like that. And then I have my team create content from those things that I find, or those things that are sent to us. So yes, I have team. I have a couple of people on social media, a couple of people on content, and between those people and myself, we produce that sucker and get it out the door every day. The way it works from a business model is that people pay us to get them attention, right? Which is the media business. So they pay us for advertising, sometimes in the form of what you and I most commonly think of advertising, like there is a banner ad, and they paid for that on our site. If you look on our site, just like any other media site. And then other times in today's world, it's more native content. So they pay for a story on our site. They pay for social media content, things like that. Okay. Bob says, is there a limit to the number of high-level websites that a client account can have? I don't believe so, Bob, not that I'm familiar with. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Just use that link and you are welcome to come on board. Zach says the haters, I know. You gotta have haters, man, right? You don't have haters, you're not doing anything. Awesome, Shelly. Thank you. I appreciate it. Cases have free courses. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see here. Second question, Bob says, can you point me to some resources on WordPress high-level integration? Resources, Bob, I would have to say, what I would do is just get on their YouTube channel and then just search for WordPress integration. And I think that you will find videos that, kind of walk you through what the options are. But I can tell you, it's really simple and really awesome. And I can show you, I can just show you using like my own site here. Hold on one second. Let me just get someplace in, let me get someplace in HighLevel real quick where I can just show you. Where am I at? Oh my gosh. Hold on one second. I was having some confusion as to where I needed to go here real quick. Hold on, let me just show you. Let me get logged into my WordPress website and then I will show you. Okay, real quick, let me just change the screen that I'm sharing with you. And we'll get right to it. Okay, so this is the, let me just make sure you can see this okay. Yeah, this is the services that scale WordPress website. Okay, so I have a WordPress website. I had this WordPress website before I got into HighLevel. And so for me, what I wanted to do was I was like, okay, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Let's keep my WordPress website if I can, but how do I integrate with my WordPress website? And this is an awesome opportunity for you guys from a service perspective, because there's so many businesses that already have WordPress websites out there that to get momentum with them, you oftentimes don't want to have to make any significant changes or anything like that. Like you don't want to have to launch a new website. Launching a new website can be an awesome service if they need it. But if they already have a website that they're happy with and they're just like, hey, we just need more leads. And the last thing that you want to do then is like try and slow down getting momentum with them by saying, oh, we got to launch a whole new website because you don't have, certain features on there or whatever. Those features you can just integrate into their HighLevel website, or into their WordPress website using HighLevel. So you can see over here on the left-hand side, maybe you can see, maybe it's a little bit small, but it says Lead Connector. So Lead Connector is the plugin integration into HighLevel. So you could just connect into any WordPress website using this Lead Connector plugin. And you can see when you do that, I can then enable the chat widget on my site using HighLevel. And then this is the really cool thing is I can just integrate funnels that I've built in HighLevel into the WordPress website. So all of my sales pages that you see, those are all living in HighLevel, but they are integrated into the WordPress website. And so you can see here, here's my Moguls membership. So if I just click view here, it's going to take us to a services that scale page, but it's for the Moguls membership. So you can see right up here, servicesthatscale.com/moguls. So it's right there on my domain that WordPress website lives on. So now I can very easily, every time I launch a new funnel that's like a permanent offer for me, Moguls is a core offer, High Leverage Agency is a core offer, MSP Academy is a core offer. I want to have those things on my main domain so that I can very easily point somebody and just go, yeah, go to servicesthatscale.com/moguls, right? I don't want to have to give them a funky funnel domain URL or anything like that. I don't want to have to try and remember that. I wouldn't remember that. So I want to be in a position that I can be speaking to you. I could be speaking on stage. I could be putting a YouTube video up, anything like that. And I can just quickly rattle off. Somebody has a question. Oh yeah, if you want to know about High Leverage Agency, just go to servicesthatscale.com/HLA, right? That's going to take you to High Leverage Agency. So like to be able to build a funnel for a business, let's say you're working with restaurants and they have a WordPress website, and you're saying, yeah, you guys should be using our birthday funnel, right? That's going to get you a bunch of new leads and stuff like that. And we can just quickly launch it on your existing website. And how do you do that? You just put in that lead connector then, and you can just integrate into their WordPress website. And it's super easy. So like once you build a page in HighLevel, you just hit this add new button. You're right here, you select the funnel that you want to connect to. Okay, and then you just choose the page step. And then you just embed full frame. You could do redirect to funnel URL, but I just embed the full frame, keep it in there, this type of stuff. And then you just put the code that you just put the slug that you want. So you just put this page, and then I just hit save. And that fast, we'll go right here, we'll hit this button, and I'll share this tab, and there it is. So this is now a live page that I built. You can see it right here, servicesatscale.com/this page. So it happens that fast. So this is a really, really, really killer capability that is it's smoking. And everybody, I think it opens up so many cool service opportunities that everybody should be taking advantage of. Cool. Let's see here. Let's see here. Have the manpower to offer funnel as a service. Where do I start? Price, etc. My second question has to do with WaaS. Some guidance from you WASers as I launch WaaS. What is WaaS? Oh, is that websites as a service? Is that what WaaS is? I love it. We're turning everything into an as. So, and you gotta be careful. It's not WaaS, it's WaaS. So where do you start with funnel as a service? Where you start with funnel as a service is you create, well, this is the way I would start as funnel as a service, is that you pick an industry, or you pick a funnel function that could go across a variety of industries if you want to. So as an example, an appointment booking funnel. That's something that could go across industries. A review capture funnel. That's something that could go across industries, right? So determine what it is that you want to, what problem you want to solve and who you want to solve it for with that funnel, and then build that funnel. Build a best practices funnel, right? Build the best dang landing pages, the best sequence of follow-up communication, like get all that as dialed in as you possibly can. And then you can go out and just sell that funnel then as a service for X dollars a month. So, hey, restaurants, you should have this birthday campaign funnel that will be automatically generating you leads every single day for the rest of eternity and driving customers into your restaurant. We have the perfect best practice growth, funnel based on birthday campaigns ready to go for your business. And it's $197 a month, and you just put in your credit card and we'll launch your funnel, within 48 hours, that type of thing. So you now have them, like, let's just say you take that funnel page, the landing page, and you integrate it into their site using the lead connector tool I just showed you. Now they're in HighLevel, right? Now those leads are coming in and they're going into HighLevel. So now you've got them in HighLevel. So now you train them on, hey, when the leads come in through the funnel that I just created for you, they're going to come in here. Here's where you're going to see them. Here's where you're going to follow up with them, all that type of stuff. So now they're putting all this new prospect and customer data inside of HighLevel all day, every day, which makes it a very, very sticky service. Okay. So that is how I would do that. And then second question has to do with websites as a service. So what question do you have there? Just let me know and I will do my best to answer it. Bob says, any form of documents that I can read, reference, you're having difficult finding these? Oh, that are you referring, Bob, to the office hour sessions, like doing this? Or are you referring to the WordPress integration? My answer is the same, though, for both. I don't know of any docs. I still think going to YouTube and searching for the WordPress integration, if what I showed you wasn't enough, is probably the best bet. Zach says, when I joined HighLevel today using your affiliate code, what's included and what additional fees do you charge to access your time and trainings? Awesome, Zach. Thank you for the question and welcome, and I hope I can help you. In terms of what is included, the best bet is for you to just go to servicesthatscale.com/HighLevel bonus. And I will share that screen with you here right now. And that is, again, an example of me using HighLevel and embedding it into WordPress. So again, servicesthatscale.com/HighLevel bonus. And you can get this since Zach is so graciously giving me the opportunity to give a little bit of a pitch here, is you can get these bonuses if you sign up for HighLevel with me at any plan. So if you're new to HighLevel and you just sign up with me, you will get these bonuses. Or if you're an existing HighLevel customer already and you upgrade to Pro through me, you will get all these bonuses as well. Okay. So what is included? You will see down here a long list of stuff. I would say, though, that the most important thing that is included for the far majority of people will be this high leverage agency. Okay, high leverage agency is something that I worked really hard on over the last 6 months to take all of my systems, training, all that good stuff, and put it into as much of a turnkey program on how to build a business on top of HighLevel, and do it in as direct of a route as possible. So less emphasis on giving you like all of the theoretical training on how you should do things, and more emphasis on here's the resource you need, follow these steps, do these things. That includes 2 weekly live training calls that you're getting. It includes all kinds of workflows and snapshots and templates and just about everything that you could possibly need. It includes access to our content delivered content subscription. So you're getting content that my team creates for you to help you market your agency. It's getting you access to my all access pass, which is essentially almost all of my courses. It's all of my foundation courses that I offer on how to build a business in this space. You get access to my Moguls Mastermind, which is those 2 live training calls a week, but it also gets you access to a number of other resources to, again, help you grow the business. I think the most important things are the private community and then the growth operating system, which is my tools and resources that I've created over the years or found or whatever on how to run and build a fast growth business. So you get all of that. There's a whole bunch of details here, and you can link off to these things and check out what they are in more detail and things like that. But that's the high level summary, pun intended. In terms of how you get access to my time, I've got those 2 live training calls each week. I do office hours here. I respond to the members' questions in my private community. I do not sell my time for any sort of consulting or anything like that, except in very, very rare circumstances. And when I say very, very rare, I mean like once a year I do that. And only because there is some special scenario where I feel like I can really add a tremendous amount of value in a very short period of time. But you get access to me through those live calls and all that good stuff. And you can ask me any questions. I mean, think of it as a private version of this. This is a public version. I'll answer any stinking question you have, but the private version, I'll try and do my best to answer even more. So I hope to see you in there, Zach. I hope to see you as part of the community. That would be awesome. Ernest says, hey, Mike, I know it's a tough question, but do you have any ideas of what systems to sell to insurance agencies with Go HighLevel? Most of them already have a simple CRM software, and it's hard to just sell SaaS. Yeah, I think that that's a tough industry. My guess is that a lot of tools have already been developed for them and are being provided by some umbrella insurance company or something like that is my suspicion. I would think, though, in that business, the most important things are going to be just related to communication. So just like follow up and making sure that there is some sort of automated triggers in place, that they're actually connecting with all of their old prospects and stuff like that on a regular basis. I think reputation might be an important opportunity in that field. I think a very big opportunity in that field, although I think my guess is that most insurance agents won't understand it or value it or take advantage of it, is to do like content-based marketing for them to build awareness and generate leads. So in other words, what I mean by that, you're starting to see, I'm following a couple people now on Instagram and Twitter that are like in these kind of boring professional services businesses where they're taking a more current, modern approach to getting themselves out there and building their reputation. And I think they're going to beat the snot out of the majority of their competitors in the industry. So what I mean by that is there's a young lawyer here in San Diego who does Instagram videos every day covering topics. He's specifically focused on early stage entrepreneurs. And he does videos on Instagram every day where he's explaining topics on stuff that most lawyers try and keep all close to their chest and charge you, $750 to hear from them. And he's just putting it all out there. And I trust him and would use him, well before the far majority of other lawyers because he's doing that. I think that in the insurance space, there's a similar opportunity. It is very easy as somebody who owns, I got a decent amount of life insurance and stuff like that. And I actually just did a review of it and updating it and all that stuff. There is a lot to know that is kept closely guarded. Like the information is just not easily out there, or it's out there in these really boring, dry, white paper style things, that have been out there forever. It's not like a human being, like I just described, that lawyer, like just kind of talking to you and telling you, hey, here's the things that you should know and be worried about and how you figure these things out and yada, yada, and what you need and what you don't need. Insurance is incredibly expensive and can feel like you're just dumping money down the tubes, right? And so anybody that can communicate, hey, here's the strategy behind it, here's why you need it, here's the value of it, and do that like in a really human way, I think can have a massive advantage in the field. And this goes for every one of those kind of dry old professional services fields: CPAs, lawyers, insurance, real estate brokerage, mortgage people, like any of that type of stuff. So that's the type of thing that you could do for them, but that takes a level of creativity and stuff like that I'm not sure. Yeah, you may not even want to be involved in that because it would be such a pain in the neck to do that for somebody. Like when I think of doing that type of thing for somebody, I immediately go, no, screw that. I'll just get into the business. Like to me, I think there's an obvious opportunity for me to help real estate agents in San Diego, but I'm really not interested because if I'm going to do that, I think I will just get into the real estate industry. It's not hard to get into the real estate industry. And the competitive advantage in the real estate industry is your ability to get attention and to communicate and to build brand. And so why would I do those things for somebody else when I could just do them myself, own equity in a real estate company, take all the leads that I generate, funnel them off the agents, and take my percentage, right? And get the equity growth of the firm. So that would be very, very valuable for them, but you may just want to just do it yourself. You know what I mean? Or just focus on the simpler things. I do think, though, that is a tough business to sell into. And the reason why it's a tough business, I think, to sell into, and this is something that can be applied as kind of a filter as you look at any opportunities, is that it's a business with a long, slow sales cycle that is oftentimes has really, really, really difficult attribution. So what I mean by that is, if I was doing real estate lead generation, okay, and I generated a lead for somebody, and then 3 years later, that person buys a home through that real estate agent, that real estate agent is probably going to have a very hard time looking back 3 years and going, oh, Mike generated that for me with this campaign. That's awesome. Look at the ROI on that. Because 3 years is a long time, and most people in that industry are not strategic enough to even be really thinking that way. They're thinking, if I generate a lead today and they're not a home buyer right now, then it wasn't worth anything, because they're so short-term focused. Any business that has a long sales cycle like that, it's hard for you to get the credit that you deserve in a lot of cases. So it can be a very tough business to be in, you know, and I would consider that. Paul said, I went after live hitters, bad idea. I would agree with that, Paul. Let's see here. Oh, cool. Awesome, Benjamin. Sales-based clients. Well, don't say I've heard of it, actually, Benjamin. You're making it sound like we're tiny. Damn it. Tell all your friends, subscribe to everything, share everything we post. Come on, man. Benjamin, I'm competitive enough that still to this day, if I go out and I meet anybody in San Diego and I say, oh, I published there San Diego, and they don't immediately go, oh, I love that site, or I'm on your newsletter or something like that, I get so irritated. It really makes me mad. Charles and Linda, how difficult is it to update domains? Not that difficult from a technology perspective at all. You know, hire somebody that knows how to do domain management, DNS stuff, because I don't. But it's not hard at all. It's like just flipping a switch. What's harder is just making sure that you then work to get that brand out there. You know, you got to replace that brand name on whatever you're doing if you want to be driving traffic to that brand. That being said, just set up the old domain to forward to the new domain, you know, so that anybody who still goes to that old domain, because that's what's in their mind, or they've got some old marketing materials that they see or whatever, then it's not, you know, it's not difficult to just make sure that it forwards to the new domain. So they type that in, it takes them to the new domain, and they go, oh, that's Charles and Linda. Apparently they just changed their brand name, you know? So, oops, sorry. Let me just put on do not disturb there. Sorry about that. All right. Business idea critique. I'm creating non-niche specific system. Plan is for industry influencers to offer R4 for their industry. Agent, RE system, coach system, HVAC system. I think it is probably not a great idea. I say that, Michael, because I have yet to, if you just think of the time and energy and resources it takes for HighLevel to get the community out there to sell their stuff, it's a tremendous amount of work. It's hard to do. And so if you are selling something to those people to try to get them to sell your stuff, I think that's super difficult. I just think you're going to spend a lot of time like spinning your wheels, trying to find people to sell your thing. And the reality is they either will be terrible at it, and so you will, you know, kiss a lot of frogs, or they are good at that type of thing and probably will just develop their own system. So that's my hunch. Happy for you to prove me wrong, of course, but that's my hunch. How did you come up with the categories attract, connect, engage, and ignite you created for Contenda? And how did you decide what to put in the category? The names are just trying to be catchy, one-word names that were also related to each of the service packages' objective. So attract was a service package that was designed to try and get them visibility and inbound, attraction. Connect was, I think, more about, I'm trying to remember exactly, but connect, I think, was more about actually capturing them into your system. Engage was nurturing them, right? And trying to get them into your sales process. Ignite, I can't remember if that was ads. I can't remember exactly what that was, or maybe that was a combination of the three together. Anyway, that was the idea, Mike. What's included in each package is a really important art and science combo that is reflected in my service package design document that I share with people in all of my programs. In that, you want to develop packages that accomplish something, accomplish enough of an objective to make the customer happy, to keep them on that service as long as possible, to be valuable as a standalone package. So people will see the value, they'll understand the value proposition and go, yeah, I need that on its own. I will pay for that versus this package. To do all of those things, but to also be at the price point and margins that you want and need it to be at your business. So there is an art and a science to that. The art being more around just the understanding of your customer, understanding what their challenges are, and understanding how to put that together then in a package at a price that the customer will find attractive. The science is more of the making sure that you set it up in a way that's got the right mix of services, assets, automation, all that good stuff to get the margins that you need to be successful and at a price point that you're going to be able to sell it fast enough in your sales cycle to be a good opportunity for you. Okay, so that's the short answer. The long answer is that getting all of that right is definitely it's definitely a matter of experimentation and getting real results from the marketplace and then going, oh, you know what? This thing is confusing people. Just take it out. This thing is requiring way more time and effort to deliver than we thought, and it's killing our margins. Can we do without it? Can we shape it in a different way? Can we add it to an upsell package instead, right? Like some of that stuff just, has to come from experience and getting it out there. Paul says, I'm already go HighLevel Pro. How can I get high leverage agency? Just pay for it, Paul. It's for sale right there on the site. If you just go to services.scale.com/HLA. You can just pay and join there. Zach says, I want to run lunch and learns, training targeting small businesses using R4 and 5S. By the way, killer content, whether presentations are available. That's awesome, Zach. That is exactly what I would recommend that you do. And I would love it if you would do that because I think not nearly enough people are doing that. And it's a huge opportunity. Yeah, to get the Mogul Mastermind, just join the Mogul Mastermind. They're for sale too. It's just people get them for free if they join HighLevel through me because I get the commission. So you can just go buy them, Ryan. Moguls is not that expensive. It's $497 for the year, and you get a ton of value. So if you say, hey, I want I want just about everything though, Mike, join High Leverage Agency. You join High Leverage Agency, you're going to get access to moguls. You're going to get my all access pass. You're going to do all that, So, you can just go there and join them. Someone would like to review my website. Would that be fine with you? If we're doing it on this call or on one of our member calls, absolutely. Yeah, just let me know. We'll pull it up. I'm planning to learn experience, go help tools and utilize my own business while building my agency with simple door openers like missed call text back and chat widget. Any words of advice? I think, Zach, I mean, it sounds to me like what you're already planning on doing is awesome. I love the focus on the simple door openers and simple services that are, you know, super automated like those. I think the digging in and using HighLevel for your own business, it sounds like, is awesome, because that's how you get comfortable with it enough and confident with it enough that you're going to be able to just, you know, you're going to be able to know the value that you can offer a small business very, very quickly and just, you know, easily, confidently sell deals. I would say that when it comes to selling to small businesses, just keep in mind, it is largely a full contact sport, which it sounds like you already understand because you're talking about doing lunch and learns. So that's what I was going to say is, like, I think oftentimes people think they have been misled into thinking by some of the marketing out there that they're going to buy HighLevel and then they're just going to put up a page and businesses are going to come signing up and they're going to make a fortune while they continue at their other job or other career or whatever. It's just, that's not going to happen. It is a full contact sport. You got to be out there, you know, out there. When I say out there, it doesn't mean you have to physically be out there, but you got to be creating content. You got to be connecting with businesses, selling to them. And that takes time. It takes back and forth with them, which means that if you're running another business or you are, or you have a full-time job or anything like that, it can be super hard to maintain both of those things. Okay. Are you doing events again with Air San Diego? Yes. So Juanita, I just did a high-end tequila party, tequila tasting party, where we brought in a bunch of real high-end tequila brands, and that was awesome. That was just like 2 weeks ago or so, maybe a little bit longer than that now. But I have a whole agenda for events that I'm trying to put together, and those yes, the next one is coming very soon. We're working on that. Is it possible to go HighLevel for gaming casino industry? I don't think that that's a great market. I don't know. I don't have any firsthand experience in the market, but my thinking is that, one, although the industry is very big in terms of the dollars and profits and stuff like that it generates, there's not that many of them. And I think that just limits your opportunities tremendously. One, two, there's already a lot of other tools in that industry. I know. I mean, there's got to be just the technology sophistication in the gambling industry is insane. And also, I think that what they will want is a sophisticated enough tool that I don't think that HighLevel is the right fit. HighLevel is really meant for just like real small businesses. Launching an SMA, selling Facebook ads, and TikTok ads, management, and contracting work, but SaaS seems like it would make more sense. Actual service I can fill. Yeah. I think that, so, okay, it sounds like this is awesome. I mean, it sounds like you've got good marketing experience and stuff like that, or at least an understanding enough of it to sell it, and then you're outsourcing it, which is totally cool. It's very hard to make a good living doing that. And the reason why is that you just typically do not have enough margin in between what you're selling for and what you're paying for somebody to do the work. Unless there is also revenue that's being generated from technology or assets that gets you recurring revenue that's very high margin and tends to be very sticky. Okay. So with the two businesses that I've built that are related to this, we had the services, we had the, we will manage this and update that for you and all that stuff that was based on human talent. But what ultimately made the business very profitable and successful was that we then found this layer of technologies that we could use to deliver value to our customers that were 100% automated, and that then kept money coming into us that was 95% gross margin and was just sticky as all heck. So it would come in for years. That's what HighLevel does for agencies. And that's why I think anybody who's in the agency business that is selling to small businesses, I really don't think that you can make a good case for building your business without HighLevel right now. Will HighLevel eventually have some competitors and stuff like that will be similar value proposition? Of course. But right now, there's nothing else like it out there. And I don't see any sensible way to compete against it in terms of building your business on something. So I think that you pretty much have to, okay? Like I think you have to build a business that is beyond maybe you making the handful of thousands of dollars a month and running a small agency where you're hustling and taking care of customers all the time and stuff like that, kind of the traditional, more like agency model that has been out there forever. If you're trying to build a business that gets to enough of a size and enough revenue and profitability to give you kind of that, escape velocity that I think that most entrepreneurs are looking for, I think that there's got to be something more to it. And I think the HighLevel is that thing right now. So let's hear. Alex says, I recently looked at Prospect Reach from Jason Bell. Have you used that system? What is your opinion? I have not used that system. I have not been in touch with Jason Bell in years from a business perspective. So I don't really know exactly what he's up to anymore. I mean, you could describe it to me, share it with me. My opinion on software tools developed for this industry that are not major businesses at this point. So like HighLevel, right? HighLevel is a really good sized business now, lots of money, lots of resources, lots of people, all that type of stuff. I think that the industry is mature enough now, and those tools are mature enough now that you should be looking for those types of tools to build your business on if it's any sort of like mainstream business function. So again, not knowing what Jason Bell's Prospect Reach does, if it does some niche thing that's like truly unique, it's got some super whiz bang feature that's truly unique that you can sign up for and use that and not be relying on that to be like the foundation of your business, though. It's just like a feature that you're buying that you don't get in HighLevel. All good. I would say, hey, if it's a good fit for your business, go for it. It's probably not that expensive. It's just, I think that there's a decent chance that kind of thing may also not be around 18 months from now. You know what I mean? Just kind of looking at the history of internet marketing people creating software tools in the agency business. And that is okay. Like I buy $47 software tools or $97 software tools all the time if it will do some specific function for me for a period of time. And then if the thing goes away or gets obsoleted or whatever, I don't care. It was $47 or $97. Who cares? Like, just do it if it's giving you some value, right? But if it's a core business function, invest in I would recommend that you invest in a more established tool and established company. What do I do to run webinars for local businesses? Also YouTube live streams. Now, the only things I'm using, so StreamYard is what I'm using to do this. StreamYard is what I do my YouTube live streams. You can also, you can live stream to pretty much everything through it. And I love it. I think it's awesome, super simple, works right out of your browser. It's got all the features you need, but none of the sophisticated stuff that you don't need that for me, I never used anyway. And some of the other platforms that just kind of made things confusing. I love it. I think it's great. It's called StreamYard. Okay, I'll type that in, StreamYard. And then I use Zoom. And then if I were running just like a straight webinar right now, I might consider also still using Demio. Okay, StreamYard for sure. And StreamYard has a webinar feature now. So in other words, you can send people to register for the webinar. So it's not just a live stream. It still ends up happening through a live stream, which I think is great. It's fine. But it has like a registration process and stuff like that, like a webinar. So you could use StreamYard for all of this. Zoom, still sometimes used just because people are used to it, you know, and it's just like, it's what people kind of expect and ask for. So Demio, which I'm a big fan of, they sold to, I can't remember who, but anyway, smart guys who built what I think is really one of the best webinar systems out there. And it's easy to use, and it's really designed for people doing marketing and doing sales from a webinar. It's affordable, it's all that stuff. So I haven't used it in quite some time, only because I've just been 100% like StreamYard focused, live stream focused. But if I were about to do a webinar again, a sales webinar, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a sales webinar every week for the next year or whatever, I would probably at least look at it again and determine if it had some features to it that made it more attractive to me than StreamYard for doing those webinars. That being said, if you set up a webinar funnel in HighLevel and you just, use StreamYard to run your live webinars, and then you just take the replay, and just the replay is immediately available, and you just put it right into your replay page on HighLevel. Like, it's super easy to recreate the whole, webinar process just right inside of HighLevel. So, and to me, I mean, that's what I do with, that's what I've done with any live webinar that I've done quite some time, is I just do it right in HighLevel, because the benefits of having everything in there completely integrated with my marketing, my email, my SMS, all that type of stuff, being able to see, did anybody buy any products off of this, all that stuff, like having that all completely integrated into HighLevel to me is, so advantageous that's definitely just doing StreamYard and having everything else in HighLevel is my default now. Okay. Prospect Reach is a lead scraper that apparently gets a lot more leads than other scrapers. Okay. So, okay, let's let's address this right now. Those are not leads. Those are suspects. Okay. If you are scraping anything, it is not a lead. Okay. A lead is somebody who has shown some degree of interest in you, right? They've raised their hand. And I know this is a matter of definitions and stuff like that, but it's super important because these words get used loosely. That scraper is offering no value to you other than it is scraping information. That's all it's doing. That information can be bought in all kinds of numbers of ways. Okay, there are very established firms out there that all they do is will just sell you lists of whoever you want to buy a list of. So if you say, I want every chiropractor in the San Diego area that's been in business for at least 3 years and has at least $500,000 in revenue and yada, 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 and you can, and drives a BMW. I mean, like, you can get any data you want. You can just go to that broker one time and just buy that information and just be done with it. And then maybe once a quarter, you go back and ask for a refresh of that data. Again, these businesses are out there. And you can just buy all that information so many different ways. So if you want to use a scraper, use a scraper. I honestly, guys, at this point, I think they're just like, in my opinion, I just think they're just kind of nonsense and a waste of time. I think they're easy to sell to you guys, unfortunately, as some magic tool that's going to change your business, and they just don't. They just don't. So sorry to be a wet blanket, but I think it's really important. What Juanita said, Juanita, thank you so much. Juanita said, guys, please watch Mike's video to see how we attract potential clients. Yes. The way the world works today is you publish valuable stuff online, and then people come and show interest in you and you follow up with them. That's the way the world works today. Now, does it still work to reach out to people and cold prospect to them? Absolutely. And can you do that all day long? Absolutely. And if that's your thing, go for it. I did it for years and years and years. I get it. It works. Go for it. Okay. If that's what you choose to do. If you're like, man, Mike, I just can't do this content marketing stuff, forget that. Okay. Or there are certain industries, let's just be real here, where outbound outreach is going to work better than content marketing. Like if you're selling to plumbers that are like dudes running around with their Motorola flip phone, right? With their hands under the sink fixing stuff, you are going to have a better chance at reaching that guy by doing stuff like sending a postcard to him, inviting them to a golf outing with their buddies free, and you're buying all the beer and stuff, and then you're talking to them about your services, doing some sort of deal with Home Depot. Like those things are going to work better probably than putting a video on TikTok. Okay. But still, how you get that data is up to you, but there's just a lot of ways to do it. So you can just go buy that data from somebody else. Maybe Jason's tool does it at such a cost advantage that you're like, oh no, I'm gonna do it this way. Or it's possible that Jason's tool like has some sort of proprietary thing it scrapes that you can't find anybody else that scrapes that data. So as an example, what's an example? There's the shit. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, there's some niche industry thing that's being updated that you don't find anybody who sells that information. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. And maybe you guys know the tool well enough you can tell me the examples. But I can't immediately think of something that you can't just go to a data broker and buy. And then again, the thing though that I just most want to stress, whether you buy the data from a data broker, or you buy it from the Lead Scraper tool or anything like that, or Lead Kahuna from David Sprague, or any of that type of stuff, it's just data. It is not a lead. It is not anybody who's expressed any interest in your services or anything like that. So what you do then from there is what matters. Okay, that was a rant. Let's see here. Okay, says, if I sell software, do I have to sell in only one niche? No, you do not. Absolutely not. From a sales and marketing perspective, you usually are more effective if you focus on a niche. That being said, I have to say that I am considering changing some of my tune on this one after my last call with Sean Clark from HighLevel, because he was saying that he sees that right now are the most successful, profitable agencies, the ones that are getting the most momentum, are the ones that are just selling to anybody that they can sell to locally. And I think that the reason why is because it is easier for them to sell. I think that most people, when I say, hey guys, you can just sell all over the country, there's something in your brains that go, that's too hard, versus when you say I can just sell right here in San Diego and I'll just go take that guy out for coffee and pitch my business. That sounds easier. And if that gets you the momentum that you need to get going, awesome. So I'm considering changing my tune on this. And this goes back to what Zach was talking about earlier. I am so big of a fan of the lunch and learns that I think that if you're just going to do lunch and learns locally and just sell to whoever you can get those lunch and learns, I think that that's awesome. I think that you will get such good momentum there that do it. You can always get more sophisticated later if you want to. Zach says, do I really need to establish an LLC out of the gates? I'm more of a ready, fire, aim and can do this once I'm actually earning revenue. No, Zach, I would not let that slow you down at all. I would not let that slow you down at all. That being said, I would also not just postpone it forever, because you can get an LLC established these days for next to nothing. So, and it's like, really, you fill out one little online form and it'll be done. Somebody will take care of it for you, and it'll cost you a couple $100. So I wouldn't let it slow you down. I also would not just postpone it forever, because there is legal liability of you just, doing your thing on your own, right? And tax issues and all that type of stuff. Awesome. Yes, Cinco shenanigans. I'm doing that this afternoon too. Awesome. Have fun, guys. Thanks for being here as always. Let's see here. Leak should be called scrape data. We used to call that the phone book. Yeah, exactly. You're right, a suspect, not lead. Can you recommend a data broker, or do you not cold call anymore? What's your go-to way to attract people to you only about? Yeah, Alex, I do not cold call anymore at all, ever. And again, I am not saying that it can't work. For me personally, where I am at right now in my life and in my business, it is so low leverage, and my brand is leverage, right? LVRG, that's leverage. That is my brand for a reason, because it is personally meaningful to me, because I look for leverage in all ways in my life to get the results that I want, to be able to live the life that I want without having to spend, all my time chained to doing something like that. Now, could I pay somebody to do that for me? Yes, I could. Yes, I could grow my business by doing that, because I have a ton of experience. And so I'm not saying that there's no ROI there, but I am saying that if I look at all of the options to grow my business that I believe have much higher ROI before cold calling, it's a huge list. Okay. So the only reason that I would tell anybody today to cold call as like their first way of growing their business is, one, you have just a ton of time and very little money. Okay. So you're just like, Mike, I've got 12 hours a day of just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I'm not making any money. I just need to get shit done, man. Okay. Cold call, cold call, cold email, cold everything though. But I mean, you should also be creating content and posting content. If you got all that time, I'd be shooting a video every stinking day and putting that video up too, right? And tweeting and doing whatever you can, LinkedIn posting, everything. But then fill the rest of your time with cold calling and cold emailing. That's fine. But if you have less time in any way, cold calling sucks, because it really takes a lot of time. No matter how you do it, no matter how good you are, you got to dedicate just hours and hours to doing it. And if you have any money to invest at all, there are just much, much, much higher leverage ways of getting leads and prospects. And the number one way is creating content and just promoting that content, right? So that would be my recommendation to anybody, unless, again, it could be that you're in an industry where you're like, Mike, I love this industry. I want to go after this industry. And really the only way to get a hold of these people is by picking up the phone and cold calling them, because they're running around on their Motorola flip phone and that's it. Cool. Okay. So those are the only reasons that I would tell you to do cold, outbound, anything. Okay. In terms of a data broker, man, Alex, I'm sorry, I have not bought data in such a long time that I can't tell you off the top of my head. If you post it inside of the community, I'm happy to help make sure that we get you a decent answer. But honestly, what I would do is I would just Google. Just go to Google. You can find, if you especially if you do like a specific industry, like chiropractic industry data broker or whatever, like you're gonna find a bunch of stuff, and you just kind of follow that trail. You're gonna find a lot of stuff. Lunch and Learn, is that like a webinar but offline? Yeah. That's so funny, right? It's so funny that we're now like so online and digital focused that it's like, what the heck is getting together with real people in a room and making a presentation? Yes, Alex, that is exactly what that is. Coffee is for closers. That's right. For when someone just beginning to build their brand, can you share additional ideas for building assets and automation like your Insta there and the steps on how you did this? Yes, Zach, the short answer is I would tell you if you end up signing up for HighLevel through me, you'll get my all access pass. And in my all access pass is my training on building, Instagram presence and stuff like that. And my content marketing training. I think that building a brand in today's world is almost all about content marketing. And so that's absolutely where I would start and finish. I mean, I would be 100% focused there. And then in terms of building a brand, there's lots of things that go into a brand. There's a gentleman whose books that I recommend that I think his stuff is the best stuff I've ever read on branding. Branding has less to do with your name and your logo and your color scheme and do you use the same fonts every time and all that stuff. Not saying that stuff doesn't matter, because it does. But your brand is the impression that people have of you, right? And how do you do as much as you possibly can to engineer that to your advantage? And so in today's world, that means, content and what they experience in that content. It also means what are the things that you are going to try to stand on as a foundation of who you are and what you're about, and do you bring that to the world consistently? So in other words, one of my things is I want to be accessible. I want to be a real human being. I want you guys to know that I care enough to come on calls and answer questions for a couple hours live on a Friday and not expect you to do anything, and like that is part of the reason why I do these calls, because I know that differentiates me from a ton of people out there that will only talk to you if they charge you $1,000 an hour or you sign up for their $25,000 mastermind, right? So you should strategically pick and engineer what those things are that you're going to hang your hat on. Okay. And I think the best way to kind of think about this is look at the major brands out there and the ones that you're like, their brand is so strong, they do things so well. There are these things that they consistently do that make them different. And that's the thing, it's different. It's not necessarily better. It's not necessarily unique, right? But it does make them uncommon is the word that I like to use when it comes to brands. Apple, right? Apple has a certain design aesthetic that they bring to everything that they do, whether it's their latest phone, their latest iPad, their latest store, whatever it is. If they go into the car business, I think this is one of the best stories that I've ever heard about brand. I did a video on this recently. So if Hilton told you tomorrow, Hilton Hotels told you that they were going to go into the car business, what do you expect that car to look like? So if Hilton, the hotel brand, told you tomorrow that they were going into the car business, what would you expect that car to look like, feel like, drive like, whatever? I couldn't tell you at all. I have no clue. But if Apple told me tomorrow they were going into the car business, I would immediately have this exciting expectation of, oh my gosh, that thing is going to be designed so badass and it's going to be so technology sophisticated and yet easy to use and all that, just like the iPhone or whatever, right? Like that would be my expectation right away. And I'd be like, oh, it's going to be a badass car, right? Hilton, I have no clue. That's brand. The fact that I feel that way about Apple is brand, right? If I'm a Porsche guy, right? Like I drive a Porsche. So if Porsche said, we're going to get into the whatever X business, I would have an expectation of what that's going to mean, because that brand is so strong with me and what it stands for and the aesthetic of it and all that type of stuff, that I would already have a pretty darn solid expectation of what I'm going to be getting in that new thing from that company. That's brand. So being like very thoughtful and strategic about that. The gentleman whose books that I love on the topic of branding, I think they're by far the best that I've ever read, is Marty Neumeier. Marty Neumeier. Well, I can even pull up his books real quick and just share it on Amazon. Who I think is just, I think his thinking on this and his thinking on this and his tools and stuff that he gives you in his books, I think are just fantastic, practical, easy to understand, easy to use. These books right here, the Brand Gap, Brand Flip, Zag. I would recommend all of those. Bart says, don't call it a Porsche. Unless you want to say it right, Bart. If you listen to the actual Porsche people, they call it a Porsche. I almost always call it a Porsche, though. I'm American. That's just the way it got taught to me. So I would highly recommend you pick up this. They're quick little paperbacks. You can read them super fast. And I think they're incredibly valuable. Let's hear. Trey, really interested to learn about the Lunch and Learns. Is there a course or video specifically on that? You know, there's not a course right now. I did have a course on that. I will consider going and dusting that off because I'm actually super bullish on those, especially now. I think that we're entering a time where these are going to become just more and more valuable. But I will gladly do, I'm going to take a note to myself, I will gladly do a video on these soon. Because I can cover a lot of ground in terms of best practices on how to make those work for you in a video. So I will do that, Trey. Thanks for the idea. And I'll get that up on YouTube here quickly, okay? Do you do a live demo of Go High Level via Zoom or use a simple slide deck? Both. But I think that the best thing that you can do is actually show off the tool, as long as you engineer that demo to have like a specific path and cover specific features, and that you've like loaded data in there. So you're actually showing it and how it works. You're not just showing this empty, you know, thing of software and then just kind of rambling around about all the features and stuff. Like have a path that takes just like 5 minutes. Here are the core features. Let me just show you how this works. Boom, 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 boom. Like, but I would not just let it be just kind of some wandering thing where you open up a blank sub account and just kind of staring at it and, you know, meandering through it. So everyone's focusing on local businesses, but my expertise is online sales for coaches, experts, great at helping all. Trey, I think that that's awesome. I really love the opportunities to go after those markets, Trey. I think if you got a lot of experience there, go there. I love it, man. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. Alex says, thanks, Mike. I appreciate your advice. Last question was thinking of launching a birthday VIP club for restaurants with Go High Level. Do you think this will work even though it does not tick all the R4 boxes? Yes, absolutely. Alex, if you get into my programs, just go straight to my birthday stuff and my SMS marketing stuff. There's marketing materials for you there. There's landing pages. There's follow-up sequences, all that type of stuff. Just go sell that directly. You don't have to do the whole R4 thing. You don't have to. Can I make the R4 pitch work perfectly well and just sell those things? Yes, absolutely. Because those fit into the 4 R's for sure. So could I adapt that and still do the R4 pitch? Yes. Can you? For sure. But if you don't want to, you just go sell those things directly. They're like simple enough concepts that the restaurants will get it, right? Like, hey, you know how people come into your restaurant on their birthdays and they spend more money because they're all happy it's their birthday and stuff? Yeah, awesome. We're going to show you how to get people in on their birthdays every year, right? I mean, okay, right? Not so tough. Yeah, I would absolutely do a workshop on lunch and learns. I actually love the things, and there are these small, very impactful things that you can do to make these things go well. So yeah, I love it. I'm happy to do it. Awesome. Those are the end of my questions right now, and we're almost at an hour and a half on a Friday. And it's Cinco de Mayo, for Pete's sake. Gotta let everybody go and do their thing. So we'll wrap it up here pretty quickly. But if you have any more questions, go ahead and fire them in here. And I will do my best to answer any more questions for you there. Sorry, I got distracted by a little family issue there, but looks like all good. Yes, Brittany, happy Friday. Bart says, have a margarita. I will, don't worry. You too. Would it help to buy the HighLevel ticket through you? A free beer, Sean. That's awesome. Sean, in terms of helping me, it will help me with bragging rights. I don't get like a commission for it or anything like that, but it'll help me with bragging rights. I always want to sell more than other people so I can rub it in their noses. So if you want to buy it from me, that's awesome. Either way, if you are in my community and you go to HighLevel's live summit, I will absolutely be holding a happy hour there for you guys at a minimum, maybe a little extra mastermind thing, something like that. And would be absolutely glad to buy you a beer. Actually, in the bar of that hotel downstairs, it's a speakeasy. And man, they have really good old fashions there. And I like whiskey, and they have really good old fashions there. So I'll be happy to get you a beer, but I'll be happy to get you an old fashioned too. And then like a block and a half from there is a little Irish bar. So that's a good spot too. So yes, happy to. Any lead gen ideas for coaches, speakers, etc. using HighLevel? Trey, I would, I think coaches, speakers, that whole marketplace, I think it's kind of just the very typical message points that just work really well, right? So how to make more money, have more freedom, right? Those types of things. Because that's that market. That's really what they're after. I think that if you just tie those messages to, we've developed proven systems that will get you more qualified people, that will get them to stick longer, that will get them to spend more, and that we can do more of this with automation so that you're not spending every waking hour on a strategy call or whatever with another prospect. I think that those messages, whether or not it's in the form of like a lead magnet, I don't think is even that necessary. I think if you're putting those messages out there consistently and backing them up with a little bit of demonstrable proof, or even just demonstration of the system to some extent, like, hey, here's an example of one of the things that we do. And then you direct people to a landing page to sign up here to learn more, and put them right into your sales cycle. My guess is that will be super effective, and it's such a big market, such a big industry that you'll have a lot of opportunity. Oh, Gustavo, man, I like this question. Top 5 AI tools to use for content creation. Man, I love that question. I am so obsessed with that market and where it's going right now and trying to wrap my hands around it. For me, it's ChatGPT, and I have added the plugin of the what is it? AI PRM plugin to Chrome. AI PRM is the plugin that allows you to, very easily get a whole bunch of prompts and prompt templates and things like that to be able to use. There's a whole community of people submitting prompt templates and voting on them and rating them and all that type of stuff. So that way you're just not starting from scratch. And that I really like. So that 1-2 combo I have not spent a lot of time outside of those since ChatGPT 4 came around. But man, I just gotta, like, the field is crazy, right? So like Brittany's saying SEO Assist is an awesome tool with AI capabilities. That's awesome. I gotta hold on, I gotta pull that one up. Like the tools are just insane. You know, the stuff that's coming into the market is just insane. Yeah, Billy Jean has a great. I know he's gone totally down the rabbit hole. Hyperwrite says Trey is an amazing tool. I think that, I mean, honestly, just like the tools that are coming from Microsoft, because they are building on top of OpenAI and they have that insider access to the goodies since they invested $10 billion in them. The people are seeing crazy productivity gains from using Microsoft's Copilot and stuff like that, like crazy. So, Zach, yes, the HighLevel events in October. Yep. So I think that there are, thanks, Trey. I appreciate it. I think that some of those just like mainstream tools like that. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the Google document that was just leaked like in the last 24 hours though. That one opened up my eyes. I thought that was super compelling because, yeah, Ryan says, yep, just got the Bing app on my phone last night. Yeah. So I haven't even done that yet, Ryan. I need to do that because I've heard the new updates are awesome. But that Google Doc that got leaked is fascinating because I was under the impression that OpenAI has just such a lead in this field that it's like, you know, they're just leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. What this Google document leak was somebody inside of Google saying Google has no real defensible position in AI. They have no secret sauce. Like there's nothing special about what Google is doing. So like, what are we doing? Is essentially what this document said. They said OpenAI doesn't really either. And that one I was like, huh? And then they gave the reason why. And the reason why is apparently the open source AI tools out there are awesome, one, and apparently really, really, really taking off fast. So the fact that you can just get some of the free open source AI tools that are out there are apparently starting to, like, you know, accelerate so fast that this Google document is essentially saying, hey, look, the open source stuff is gonna like beat us all. Because people are just training their own individual apps, or communities are, or companies are, or whatever, just using the open source language models. That just opened up my brain to, oh wow, so there are these other tools that are completely open source that it sounds like I should be playing with. So man, I don't know. I think it is such a fascinating space, and I think that who was it that asked this question initially? Because I've just been talking, Gustavo. I think that for content creation, we just gave you some really good ones. And I think that that's the issue. I think that right now there's these kind of two paths to AI, right? Or with AI. The one path is AI going to be this artificial general intelligence where it's going to learn to have consciousness, essentially just like us, and it's going to then, you know, take over the world and all that type of stuff, right? And there's you know, there's a lot of people that believe that it is, and that it's going that direction, and all that type of stuff. The other direction is it's just even if it doesn't do that, it's just becoming the most powerful tool in the world for about any scenario, right? And certainly any scenario that has anything to do with digital, right? To start, it's gonna quickly become more than that. But anything that has to do with digital, it's going to be just this incredible tool. So when it comes to being an incredible tool, the more specific it is about the task that you want it to do, the better it's going to be at that task, right? So if somebody develops the AI tool that all it's for is writing the perfect TikTok script, and all they do is just train it over and over all day long to just analyze TikTok scripts and see which ones are the best and most viral and all that type of stuff, then you're going to want that tool for creating TikTok scripts because it's going to be so laser dialed in, and it's going to be learning about that just all day long and just getting better and better and better and better. That's what I think we're starting to see more of, right? Is people are taking the language models and they're like laser focusing them on a task. And so I think that one of the most important things that you can do right now is to do what Gustavo's question did, which was to focus it in on a specific problem to solve. Because when you focus it in on a specific problem to solve, you can find some tools out there that are just amazing. And so if you just do some good old searches on the best tools, or get on Twitter and follow people that are talking about AI and stuff, because that's where I think a lot of the action is in that community. It's amazing, a little scary where we'll be in 3 years. It is. I am an optimist to the core, but it is a little bit scary. I think that it's going to be a bumpy road. I think that the ultimate upside of it is so groundbreakingly exciting for humanity that it's hard to even imagine what all it could do for us and where it could lead and all that type of stuff. But I think that just as much, there's just going to be a bunch of bad stuff that people are, we've already seen just the start of this deep fake stuff. It's got some real potential for harmful use, that it will get used for that stuff because it's human nature, and it's just, for whatever reason, there's enough human beings out there that want to do nonsense. So I think it is going to be bumpy for sure. And I think that job displacement is going to be crazy. And so that's going to be, that could lead to some chaos. So I think the short term, because of the speed and scale and power of this, the short term could be very bumpy. I think that the long term is just incredible. I think it's important to be thinking about SOPs and how that may relate to what can be done with AI. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like, Lois, I think that we are already, here's what's mind blowing to me, is how much I am already spending time with AI and looking for ways to incorporate it into my life. Like, I would say my number of Google searches has dropped by 90% in the last 2 months. Like, that's crazy. It's like major changes already in my behavior on what is a very important thing for me, finding information. I mean, my business is all about information, right? So that's an incredibly important function in my life. And I've already just completely, moved to something else. And that thing isn't even connected to the internet real time yet. So imagine when it is. Like, I can't imagine that I will have a reason for using Google when it is. So obviously Google's going to create their version of it and all that type of stuff. Yeah. And Lois says my research time has dropped drastically, totally. So right now, in the form that it's in, Lois, I totally agree. I think, like, how do you create these standard operating procedures to make use of it effectively? I think that is going to be, it's going to be super important in the short term. In the longer term, and by longer term, it's so funny. Like I literally, like when I say longer term, I'm thinking like 6 months now. I think that things are changing so fast that that's what I mean by longer term. I think that, Lois, if you haven't seen some of the demonstrations of like what Microsoft is doing with our Copilot tool, like you start to wonder, like, do SOPs just get tossed out the window? And the reason I say that is like somebody like you take a bunch of data and you just upload it, and it just automatically creates tables and presentations and analyzes the data and gives it to you, even without you having to give instruction. Like it just looks at the data and does enough processing so fast that it goes, oh, this is what this data is about, and this would be what would be useful for somebody to get from this data. So let me just go ahead and create the presentation and create the slides and create the charts and create the whatever, right? And so when you think about all the different scenarios that could be applied to, where it does the background processing to determine what should be done without you even having to tell it, like that's insane. Like right now, we are typing prompts in, right? And that's, you gotta think that, I mean, we will be doing that. But I think that it will get so much more sophisticated than that so fast that I don't know. I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me. Scary part for me is how dependent on AI we are going to be in a couple of years. God forbid there's ever a large solar flare that grills all electronics one day. I know. I know. Breadth of info is diminishing. Interesting statement. Oh, having one answer is not the way. Oh, I totally agree with that. I don't know that that's the case, though. I don't know that I agree that that's the case. That's probably a big debate we could have on how these language models work and all that good stuff. David, awesome. Welcome. Thank you. No more Google searches. Confirmed SEO is dead again. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't think anything's dead. The phone inclusive, yeah. Search for Google is up from a year ago, so maybe not. Yeah, no, I don't think Google's not dead. Far from it. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that it's amazing. There are very, very, very few things that have come even anywhere near as close to changing my behavior and my approach ever as AI. And I would say there's not anything that has. I mean, like when Google came out, it took me a while to, okay, why am I going to this thing? What am I doing? You know, and when Facebook came out, I had an account for I don't know how many years before I actually used it. And, maybe email. Alex says I was just trolling. Yeah. Maybe email. Email was one of those things. I feel like when email came out, I was like, oh, okay, sure. Somebody else have an email account, I can send them email. Awesome. I'm doing that. Let's do that. That's more efficient. It's faster. It's easier. But artificial intelligence, it's like, boom, right? It's like somebody just dropped a bomb. All right, gang, this is fun. Actually, this reminds me, if you are interested, make sure you are on my leverage email list. So at lvrg.com, I am actually about to fire up a new weekly email where I am going to cover just briefly the most interesting things that I am finding out in the world related to the most important aspects of life for a freedom-seeking entrepreneur. Okay, I am a freedom-seeking entrepreneur and a leverage-seeking entrepreneur. And to me, I can get into a rant on how I describe how I define, freedom and leverage and all that type of stuff. But I think if you're on this call right now, you generally get the idea, right? I'm building a business to give me a certain life and a certain lifestyle, not because I want to build a public company. I value being able to travel, control my time, control my money, being able to make the most of my resources and make the most impact from my effort and all that good stuff. I am going to be summarizing the most important things that I'm finding on topics related to technology, artificial intelligence, crypto, sales, marketing, all that stuff to help those of us who are those freedom-focused entrepreneurs building those types of businesses, okay? So if that is interesting to you, make sure you go and sign up there and just get on that newsletter, and I will be getting those out in your hands, okay? Any thoughts on text to video? Gustavo, I don't have, so the one tool that I've played around with, which is the leader in the space, I can't remember their name right now. I played around with it. I liked it. I thought it was too early for me to use it in most cases yet. I think it's going to be incredible. I think it's going to absolutely change. Yeah, that's the one. Synthesia, is that how you say it? I think it's absolutely going to change how content is created, like so fast. I mean, it's just bananas. But for me, when I see these artificial intelligence people that it creates, and I see them talk and I hear them talk, it's still just too creepy to me. It doesn't look real. It looks fake. It looks creepy. I think in a lot of scenarios that can be totally fine. I think, like I said, there's not any real use case for it for me right now. But that being said, again, 6 months is a long time from now. I think that in 6 months, and actually, I would really encourage everybody to think this way, particularly if you have kids. I really think 6 months from now, if you have a lot of video content and audio content of you in the world, you're going to be able to create videos of you that you never said that thing. You never, I mean, like it'll just be a complete artificially intelligence generated video of Mike Cooch giving a rant about something. And so I think that the possibilities that come from that, both pros and cons, are incredible. And I think that is, like I said, that's probably just 6 months away. You'll be able to do that in a way that you'll look at it and your jaw will drop, just like that some of the fake Joe Rogan video stuff, stuff like that that's coming out. I saw an interview with the founder of Stability AI, who, if you're not familiar with Stability AI and you're not familiar with their founder, I would highly recommend that you follow the company and follow him. Brittany, thanks. I would recommend that you follow the company and follow him. He is a very fascinating guy, very fascinating entrepreneur and scientist and all this. And Stability AI is doing some really cool stuff. But, he was like, look, he was like, in just a very short period of time here, you'll just be able to upload the script and the script will create the podcast video of you interviewing whoever you want, talking to whoever you want, as if those two human beings are just right there and you never participated in it. The script just got uploaded up and it followed the script. Or you could just tell it, I don't even want to have a script. Just here's the topic. Have us have a conversation based on what you know of the two of us, based on all the footage that you've seen of us and how we interact and what our personalities are and stuff. Create an interview of me interviewing him in video. And that is very, very near. And so that type of stuff is going to be mind-boggling. And when you think about content marketing, like I think about, okay, all of the content that I have out there in the world that I could just feed into a system and just say, create more Mike Cooch content. That's bananas. That's bananas. And the reason why I said I think that you should think about this if you have kids, like I just think I have kids and I get emotional. My dad died when I was pretty young. I was just my early 20s. If I had a whole ton of video and audio footage of my dad, we're probably a year away from I could upload it and have like a conversation with my dad. And I know that that seems totally creepy, and there is some creepiness to it, but is it also potentially really, really, really badass that one day when I'm gone, my kids or grandkids, like there's zero question that based on the footage that's already out here in the world of me right now, there is zero question that one day my grandchildren will be able to sit and have a conversation with me long after I'm gone. My great grandchildren, whoever, will be able to sit down and have a conversation with great grandpa Mike. No question in my mind at all, because all these videos of me and all this audio and all this type of stuff will be uploaded into an AI system that you'll then be able to just generate a version of me talking to them and all that type of stuff. That's a given. Like, that's right around the corner, relatively speaking. So if you don't have any footage of you, the quality of that is going to be worse. And the it's just going to be harder. It's going to take you longer to get to the point where you can actually create something that's really good. If you have a bunch of footage out there to feed into the system, it's going to be able to learn you faster. Again, pros and cons. Like, I only want that used for me in a way that I'm controlling and benefiting. Obviously, if it's deep fake stuff, that's creepy. That also, though, gets to the point of like the stuff that I feel like we can't even imagine. And I have a hard time processing this. I really do. I have a hard time processing this. If everybody is able to create an unlimited amount of content here in the next 6 months to a year, what is the value of content anymore? Like social media and the amount of content out there is already so overwhelming in volume that you just have to just like tune stuff out. How do we decide what to tune into in that world? And I would be like, if anybody finds anybody who's smarter than me, who's talking about that and has an answer to that and where they think that's going, I would love to be able to see those presentations. So if you have stuff, send it to me, please. Like, if you find stuff out there that you think is really good, send it to me, because I don't know the answer to that. How do we decide what to pay attention to? And I think that this is where the stuff like gets really scary in terms of deep fake and politics and all that type of stuff. And we don't know, was that thing created by a computer or not? That does get scary. But even just from a business perspective, like marketing, how are people going to determine where and what they tune into? And this is why, at a very simple level, I think lunch and learns are going to be so damn valuable, because the value of getting together with a real human being and seeing, oh, that's Mike, and here's what he's actually saying, and I got to shake his hand and have dinner with him and all that type of stuff, I think is going to be like infinitely more valuable in that world. So crazy times, exciting times. Like, honestly, like I'm just thrilled that I get to live through some of this stuff and see it all happen, because I really do think that we are at a major inflection point in humanity that, whether it goes this way or that way, I'm kind of excited that I at least get to see it. Howard says Lady Gaga wear a meat suit. Yeah. I don't know. It is fascinating stuff and fascinating times. And I just think I encourage everybody to keep their eyes open, keep engaged, learn as much as you can, as fast as you can. Try not to have any panic attacks about it. Stay optimistic and just like, stay optimistic and look for how you make the most of it in your life and in your business and all that good stuff. I really do think, like, just in the obvious areas, when you think of how this is going to impact us from an education perspective, how this is going to impact us from a medical perspective, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Again, that Stability AI founder, and I just heard an interview with Khan Academy's founder. Oh, the stuff they're doing around education, right? I mean, essentially, like what between those two interviews, they were saying what you can expect is that 3 years from now, everybody has their own personal teacher, everybody has their own personal doctor, and they are far better than the best doctor or teacher that you could possibly imagine being able to have access to today. Because you'll be able to just, hey, explain calculus to me in a way that I'm going to understand calculus. And it's just going to figure you out and how to teach you in your way so that you'll learn calculus as fast as you can imagine. Learning other languages will be as fast and efficient as you can possibly imagine, right? Being able to sit on the bench, just like I wanted to talk with great granddaddy Mike, right? Being able to sit on the bench with your Apple goggles, and I want to talk to Socrates, and I want to hear what Socrates would have to say about this, right? And Socrates comes wandering over down the path and sits on the bench next to you and has a conversation with you, and that is a very short time period away. Having a doctor that you can just load up, hey, here are all my symptoms. I'm having all these crazy symptoms. It's the type of stuff like my mom is going through health issues right now that she is, poor woman is 18 months into seeing every damn doctor you can imagine. And it feels so stupid and broken, right? It's like each one of them, I know they're doing their best, but each one, it's like starting over and they're rushed. They have no time because, it's the way the system works right now. They have 1,000 patients to see. She's on all these different drugs. And so everybody's just taking their best guess, and then we'll see in another 6 months from now. And she's like, 6 months? Like, I'm miserable, right? They can't possibly process all the different factors. The combination of symptoms, drugs she's on, things she's been through, like no human being can assimilate all of that stuff. And there's already use cases that they're showing where people are getting diagnosed for the first time in their lives when they've had these chronic issues, because they can load the issues into the AI, and the medical AI system can immediately look at so many factors and go, oh, there's a 93% chance it's that. And if it's not, it's this. Here's the treatment. Go for it. And they're all of a sudden like, after years of not knowing what's wrong, I now know what's wrong, right? So when you think about that, 3 years from now, after a ton more data is in the system and a ton more learning has happened, and it's actually connected to your personal blood tests that you're getting done every few months, or the drugs you're taking, the vitamins you're taking, the diet that you ate, right? Every day when you go pee in your toilet is going to be a sensor that captures the makeup, the contents of your urine to automatically feed back into your own personal system, so that it's telling you, hey man, you're low on magnesium. Here, pop a supplement today to get that back on track. Like stuff like that. And the speed and the personalization of it is just going to be bananas. And that's exciting shit. That is really, really exciting. That's so awesome. Yeah. Actually, I remember reading about that. Yeah. All this stuff is so exciting. Honestly, as you can tell, I can literally just sit and talk about this with you guys for the next, month. It's incredible. So let's do that on more calls, huh? And in that newsletter. All right, if you'd like to. Awesome, Gustavo. Thank you. Welcome. All right, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Friday. Thank you for being here. I always appreciate your time and your business and your attention here while I'm doing these rants and wandering off on topics that you may not find relevant to you right now at all. I appreciate the opportunity to have the soapbox to be able to climb upon and do it. So that's awesome. I love it, Alex. Good stuff, man. Thank you, Paul. Awesome. Everybody have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic weekend. Spend some time learning about some of this cool shit. And we will see you on our next call. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.